everyone's under pressure.
OTB AM's pressure rankings with Gillette.
And the big pressure.
Right, Owen, where are we starting?
We'll start with number 5 in our countdown this morning, and I'm actually going with the Republic of Ireland team on Saturday, who were up against Germany, obviously in their Euro 2021 qualifier. It's one thing. This is made like a strange selection because I guess we associate pressure with winning and being in the melting pot of actually trying to get a positive result from a game. But I do think there is a different sort of pressure the way the Ireland women were set up on Saturday, where they couldn't afford to get hammered too much, and yet they get into a situation where they're 3-0 down. They're looking across at other results, I'm sure, in the build up to this game, seeing Germany having beaten Montenegro 10-0, having beaten Ukraine 8-0. These are teams that Ireland are going toe-to-toe with. They've got Ukraine next month. And to be in that position where you're 3-0 down, you're probably thinking to yourself, right, this is a massive, I guess, burden on our shoulders right now that we don't get into a situation where we're getting beaten 6-7, 8-0, because that automatically puts you in danger of qualifying. They didn't. They actually held on, despite, the Germany boss screaming at her players, trying to get that 4th, that 5th goal, trying to absolutely crush Ireland, and they didn't actually get across the line. So, in a weird way, Ger, I'm going for the losers in a 3-0 result as one of the people who actually stood up well in the face of pressure this weekend. So that's at number 5. At number 4, you can take this away, because I think there's always a bit of pressure on the Atlanta Falcons whenever they take even a small lead.
Yeah, so if you're a supporter of the Atlanta Falcons, and you know all too well that 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl is not good enough. Famously, they have blown the most likely winning percentage chance ever in Super Bowl history, and they did it again last night. At one stage, the Dallas Cowboys, who were playing at home in front of about 3,500 fans in their amazing stadium, which holds about 100,000, were 20-0 down at the end of the first quarter and had a 2% win chance, and then ultimately end up winning the game. There's this thing in American football where you can get the ball back after you've just scored. You have to perform an onside kick, and it almost never works. It's basically set up to fail, but somehow Dallas managed to kick the ball the requisite distance and run out, and none of the Atlanta Falcons fell on the ball. The Cowboys fell on the ball, got possession, went down the field, scored, and then and won the game. And you got to look it up. It's on Twitter. It's absolutely ludicrous. I don't really know what rules prevented the Falcons from just jumping on the ball. I think that maybe there was a misunderstanding on their part about some of the rules, which, in professional sport really shouldn't happen, but it seems to have happened. Either way, irrespective of whether or not they win it or not, it's a sensational game, which had like 79 points scored, and defense is not on top early in the season, it turns out, Kenny. I think it's because they're all trying stuff and there's no fans in the stadium, I'm telling you. It's nothing to do with technical proficiency at all. It's like, this is just a training game. The blood is not up in many circumstances. So, the Atlanta Falcons, there's going to be a lot of sackings after that.
Yeah, for sure. At number 3 this morning, we're going for Bryson DeChambeau, your new US Open champion, Bryson DeChambeau. And he's in the pressure rankings this week because he put the pressure on himself. Let's have a listen to his pre-tournament press conference.
So everybody's interested in what your approach will be, given your length. I mean,
I'm hitting as far as I possibly can up there. Even if it's in the rough, I can still get it to the front edge or the middle of the greens with pitching wedges and 9-irons. That's the beauty of my length and that advantage. Now, obviously, if it's into the wind and there's some of those situations going on, then it's going to be different. There's certain holes I might lay up on just because of the situation. But for the most part, I'm going to be trying to go after it as much as I possibly can.
Do you have a lot of confidence because of the difficulty of this layout and your length over the rest of the field?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even if I hit it in the rough, I still feel like I can make birdies out here. I still feel like I can run it up the middle of the green and make a 20-footer. Give myself opportunity to still make birdie, whereas most people are laying back sort of a bunker, hit in the rough even. It's not guaranteed if you lay up, you're going to hit in the fairway.
This is interesting because DeChambeau actually followed through on this exact technique. He actually did sort of ignore the importance of the fairways. He hit a total of 23 out of 56 possible fairways. That's 41.1% of a success rate. Since 1981, no US Open winner has hit fewer than 27 fairways. So he's 4 below that. In fairness to the guy, there's plenty of reasons to not like him, plenty of reasons to dislike him over the last little while especially. But he shows up to his press conference right before a tournament and says, I'm just going to hit the ball long. Doesn't matter if it lands in the rough, and I'm going to go and win this tournament. And he actually is a man of his word, and he does it. I think that he deserves a little bit of respect, at least, for that.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's a comic book villain when it comes to golf, and golf needs that. An acquaintance of both of ours was in touch, Kenny, to say it was Nathan.
A load of them.
It was Nathan. Yeah. It was his mutual. He headed the ball too, Tony Yeboah. You get the assist, Kenny. You got the assist.
No, he's stretching the truth there a little bit. Stretching the truth. I know you're going to get the video. Now you're going to get the video clip there. I did head. It was defensive. Don't know whether it's trying to cushion the header to a team, but you might be right. You might be right. I did hold my hand up. I wasn't the vicinity. I thought of another goal, Michael Owen, by the way. His first ever Premier League goal. I was there as well.
Good, was it?
On his coattails, yeah.
Yeah.
Should have cleaned them out, didn't. So this kid will never score. His first game.
Like Peter Reid against Diego Maradona in '86. Should have cleaned him out, but didn't.
Should have got a few defensive tips off Thiago Alcantara.
Well, like I saying, the Shamba, that's pretty depressing, actually. I'm a fan of him, like, and similar to Owen, I like his kind of confidence and stuff like that. But the course planners, course management, literally have to have a serious look at this in terms of. It's great I've seen him drive the ball in some tournaments on. He's been really straight. I've seen him hit a lot of fairways in other tournaments, 350 or whatever, it's 360, and actually land it on the fairway. And that's pretty amazing, to be fair. That is real skill, like power and accuracy. But if he's looking at the course thinking, I'm just going to smash it, if I end in the rough, it's not the end of the world, just kind of dig it out, I can still make the green, then they've got to set up that course where if you do hit the fairway, you ain't getting out. It's literally a hit and a hope. So you've got to marry it up. I think you've got to even it up. I think you've got to reward the people, the accurate drivers of the ball, as opposed to, you can't encourage this attitude of just going to smash it as far as possible, regardless of the setup, and just like, I'm confident I can just dig out a wedge and 9-iron every time onto the putt. And that's not great golf. That's not great to watch. I like me golf, but I don't really want to tune in and watch that golf from the majority of the field.
You can get pitch and
week in, week out.
Yeah. Number 2 on our list today is Saracens. I mean, we could also change this just to be Billy Vinipola. He is Ireland's kryptonite. It turns out we cannot beat this man. Whatever it is that he has against us, his size, his sheer bloody mindedness, got some issues with some of the stuff that he's said and some of the things that he believes. But look, when it comes to rugby, he batters us single-handedly. He is Gulliver and we're the Lilliputians.
It's true. I think you keep it at the Saracens at large, though, because you're missing your totemic out half. You are massive underdogs. Is it 9-point underdogs?
Yeah.
And you're up against one of the best teams in the continent, supposedly, in their backyard. I know the lack of fans doesn't really make that as much of an advantage as it should be. I don't know. I just think that it was Saracens being like, this is fantastic, all the stuff that's being written about us. This is brilliant that we've been totally written off. And that first half certainly showed that, especially up front, and the way they creamed Leinster in the scrum in the first half.
The scrum non-stop. It felt like Ireland, England at Twickenham with Tom Court, and it felt like Ireland, England at Twickenham this year. So there's a long sequence of these heartbreaking defeats where you realise you're just not really at the races against this other team who are killing you. And so we'll get into that with Alan Quillen in just a moment. And number 1 on your list, Owen?
Number 1 is Kiladangan. Who else could possibly be number 1 on our list this morning? What a day yesterday at Semple Stadium. Kiladangan had never won the county title in Tip before, and they were up against the might of Loughmore Castleiney. They'd won it 3 times, Loughmore Castleiney. Their most recent title came in 2013. So for anyone who didn't see this, we're in extra time after a cracking final. Things go nip and tuck throughout extra time. 20 minutes are played. It is still level. Then there is 1 minute of additional time played, and Loughmore Castleiney get a 65. The clock ticks past 21, right as John McGrath strikes the ball, and it sails over the bar. The very, very small crowd goes absolutely wild. It is heartbreak for Kiladangan. But wait, there's more. The ref has allowed the puck out to be taken. It goes straight into the heart of the opposition defence. The ball is passed out to Brian McLaughlin. Can he equalise, is the question on all of our lips. Is this possibly going to penalties? There's 2 men between him and the goal posts. But forget the equaliser. He's only got the top corner of the net in his crosshairs, and bang, green flag, game over. The half of the crowd who didn't go wild 20 seconds previously are now going absolutely crazy. Kiladangan, under the greatest pressure possible, hold their bottle and win their first ever county title. Full time, after extra time, Kiladangan 128, Loughmore Castleiney 320.
Not bad.
Not bad. Incredible scenes. TG Cahir also picked the right game. Let's not forget this, live on national television. They backed the right horse yesterday, so fair play to everybody in TG Cahir.
That is the Gillette pressure rankings for this week.
OTB AM's pressure rankings with Gillette.